Y'all want to talk to me about GMOs, but ain't even try to even grow a little garden on your terrace, in your windowsill. You could grow some herbs and spices for yourself. You definitely did some tomatoes, some peppers. But you ain't got to buy them pesticide versions in the store no more. You could have definitely got you some eggplants, all that stuff you could have built. You could have that right in your house right now, in your apartment. Why you ain't learn how to do any kind of, you ain't learn how to do no kind of DIY stuff? You can't build no house? Black woman, black man? I say black woman because black women head of most of these households right now. She got to know how to do that. She might be in it for herself. She got to know how to fix these things. Have people coming in praying on her home and her household and her children because she don't know how to do it. And ain't no man around there to do it. She got to know how to do these things. How does she know? Got every program on the TV. You can watch it. I know how to build my own house. I bought a house for $8,000 here in Augusta. $8,000. This thing was nothing but a few walls. Taught myself how to renovate this house. The disciplines. Lived for 8 months without hot water. I had to go to the YMCA. Or when it would rain, I just get under the eave of my house and I would shower. Take what they call bum bath in the street. I'd take a bum bath. Boom, 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 boom. Get myself together. Had a hot plate and a Kool-Aid container. That's how I was living. You understand? Ooh, you can't tell me nothing. Because most of y'all talk this way and you're not about it. You just talk that way because it sound dope. It sound good. Rocks you to sleep. Man, you know, once upon a time. Once upon a time. But if you was about it, you would have did it. You want to talk about black-owned businesses? You want to talk about what crushes black businesses? I can talk to you about that. I own a boutique and a bar right next door to it in the black community. I can tell you what crushes those businesses. Black people. You want to talk about community-based activism and what creates problems for the community? The people you're serving, the community. There are no sense of honor, integrity. That's what the problem is. So what are we talking about unifying for? What are you talking about this kind of things for? You ain't even got mastery of yourself yet. I say to you all, begin by mastering yourself. Let me just say bluntly, get your shit together. You shouldn't open your mouth to talk anything about any kind of what we should do if you ain't got it together. Because you're playing. Because when you start getting it together, you start seeing. It changes you. It changes you, y'all. It changes you, man. Mm-hmm. You see, I'm talking right now. I wouldn't even go in here in the conversation. Like I want to build on systems on a whole nother capacity. But it changes you. Because then you start learning this other thing that's really special. It's called discernment. If y'all know what I'm talking about with discernment, do them little 5 things I see y'all doing when it's something sound like it makes some sense to y'all. If y'all know what the spirit of discernment is about.
Come on, fam. Show emojis if you understand.
As I like I said, I don't want to talk at y'all. I'm trying to talk to y'all and with y'all. You know what I'm saying? This is I'm kind of going on.
Break it down, because a lot of people need to hear that.
We don't understand discernment, what that means. To say, yo, you know what, like, why, is this a good choice? Why am I choosing this? What is the criteria by which I'm even electing to engage this thing? Discretion. Wait a minute, is this a good situation? Does this line up with what I'm trying to achieve? Some of you got these grand ideas that are beautiful. They're not lofty, they're not foolish, they're not off the wall, they're not unrealistic. But you make them so because you lack a sense of discernment. You don't know with whom to engage with. You don't know whom to befriend. You want to bring your boy with you that is not worth anything. He's not the guy. He's popular, cool. He's cool on the what up tip. Y'all roll up together. You smoke. That's my man's. Y'all drink together. All right, cool. He's cool for that. Not for your dream. You have to have a spirit of discernment. And I need that guy, that kid right there. Oh, him is a cornball. You may think he a cornball, but when it comes to this thing, they don't get no thorougher than him. That's the guy. I need that guy. I need that sister right there. She's brilliant. She's motivated. She wants it. Sis, what are you doing? You all right? You got time? Can I talk to you, sis? More, she's, and oh man, if you had this discernment to pick the right ones, you know how badly they want you to see them, what they would do for you, how hard they would work for you, but you don't have any sense of discernment. You pick them because they look good, because they talk all that cat daddy shit that sound good to you, to put it bluntly. You don't pick them because any real good criteria. And you know why you can't do that? Because you don't even know what you're doing. Give you a good example. Let me tell you a quick story I tell everybody that I deal with. A story about years ago I read this book, Marketing Plans for Dummies. I always read the dummies book because if I don't know something, I regard myself as a dummy in that thing until such time as I know it. So I picked up Marketing Plans for Dummies, and I was reading, and it was telling a story about, it was trying to make you understand knowing what business you're in, right? And in the example they gave was Kodak. Y'all remember Kodak? Remember, you're not Kodak Black, Kodak Film.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, everybody may remember Kodak throw a little hand up in there, so I know I ain't just talking to myself. I'm all the way down to B Sweets and Miss Giselle and Free Me, and I'm looking at all y'all, Buffalo and all that. Ibrahim, let me know that y'all hear me, you heard? Because I'm definitely talking with y'all, you know what I'm saying? Black Seed, I see you too, fam. You know what I'm saying? There you go. All right, there we go. We activated. I just want to make sure we in the building. All right, so check this out. Kodak, right? Y'all remember Kodak? Because back in the day, you know what I'm saying? If y'all ain't went near my age, I remember you would go out, take your pictures. You had your little Kodak camera, had your little film, you know what I'm saying? Little 11 shots you could take. Sometimes you get the 21 reel, you know what I mean? Boom, take your pictures. After the roll was done, you know what I'm saying? You would go to the mall and they had a little Kodak kiosk. You would put, you know what I'm saying? You get them your thing, you know what I mean? And 2 or 3 days later, your film would be developed. You'll come back, get your film and your negatives. You come home, everybody, yeah, I got my pictures back. Everybody come to the house, you be putting your joint in your picture book. That's where that whole trope of, you go over a girl's house and she open up a picture book and be, this is my cousin Janie, and this is who's at the beach, this, that. You understand? That was Kodak, right? Well, Kodak's marketing plan, check this out. When their mission statement, their marketing statement, I think, which says something to the effect of, we are the leaders. Check this out. We are the leaders in the chemical process by which film is developed. That's what they thought their business was. Now, let me skip forward and say this. When's the last time any of y'all ever heard about Kodak? Anybody that heard
Over
anything?
15 years ago.
All right.
99.
Kodak Black.
Anybody, ain't nobody heard that there. If it wasn't Kodak Black, you ain't heard about him, right? So now let me throw this at you. Do you know that Kodak was the first people to come up with a digital camera? It was 8 pounds. They shelved it because they said to themselves, ain't nobody gonna carry around no camera that's 8 pounds. Now I'm gonna tell you why that happened. Because someone in that company or someone's didn't have the discernment to understand what business they were in. They didn't know what business they were in. And their hubris, they thought they were in the chemical process by which pictures were made. That wasn't what business they were in. How stupid. You know what business they were in? The preservations of the preservation of memories that people hold dear.
Making memories, yep.
We preserve the memories that people hold dear. We make memories. Huh? And if they knew that, then guess what? When they had an 8-pound digital camera, they may not have been able to figure out how to make that a consumable camera. I mean, a consumable product then, but they would have knew, hey, listen, at some point, yeah, this is something right here. Digitally? What? We can digitally preserve their memories? That means they won't need film? Oh, we need to be on a swivel for this. We want to be out front for this because this way they are definitely going to be able to preserve their memories. Can you imagine the applications? See, but somebody didn't have that spirit of discernment. Somebody in their hubris thought they was too busy being high on their own supply. And now Kodak is a joke in the camera world. Companies
Yes,
like
sir.
Canon, Sony, they're the ones that you're talking about. You ain't talking about no damn Kodak camera. You ain't even trying to buy them little weak ass printers they be having at Office Max. So, you know, that's what that discernment about, y'all.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
bars right there,
powerful,
brother Cool
powerful
Kim. Go ahead,
observation.
brother Ali.
No, I was just saying that's a powerful observation, man. Powerful, powerful observation. People that are not in this space are missing out. This is a great treat for the family to even be in communication with this brother. It's a powerful brother. I just tweeted this space out again. Y'all tweet the space out. Let people know this brother is in here going in. He's giving you that knowledge, that wisdom, that understanding, that science. You see, that's what this is about. We got to be able to build like this. We need people like this in our circumference to build. That's what I wanted to say, Raj. You can go ahead and take it from there.
Absolutely. This is one of the reasons I mean, when I told y'all this brother is brilliant, he's inspirational, he will open up your mind. This is what I'm talking about. He's not just a rapper. I think he's a genius. I mean, I think he's just faking like he just brilliant in everything he touches. I haven't ever seen him touch things that have turned to mush. Everything he touches turned to platinum. And I mean it's just a brilliant brother, and people are afraid of someone like this in this what we call the music industry, because he deserves to be on top. And I'm not just saying this because as you all know, just because he's in here and he's a friend of mine. But I'm not gonna keep on. I'm gonna let brother Gerard, you had something to say, brother, and then Miss Jizzle.
Oh, thank you for this space here today. Thank you for inviting me on stage. Peace to you, Sister Roz, Brother Ali, Miss Riri, Tubman House, and Cool Kim. Thank you, brother, for being here today and imparting your wisdom and everything. So I really do appreciate it. I believe I had the 12-inch blue cheese. Shout out to you and the UMCs. You know,
Nice,
also,
nice.
yeah, was also a big fan of your verse on that and wanting to grow on. I used to love that song too. And yeah, you killed those rhymes. I thought those was dope bars. You know, still inspire me, the things you were saying in those verses. So shout out to you. I definitely wanted to get on stage and, you know, show you that respect. But my question, since you spoke about ageism in the game nowadays, and it's always been, you know, kind of stigmatized as a young woman's game for in hip hop and everything like that. But you know, we've seen in the past decade or so, we've seen acts that were older. They kind of got on when they were older. I think Danny Brown, Action Bronson. I think 2 Chainz is a great example as somebody who had been in the game for like a long time, but he really blew up when he kind of got older in the game. So if you could speak to just a little bit of that for artists that aren't as young anymore. Also, I would like to if you could speak on how to balance being an artist and like a community organizer. I think that's an interesting dynamic, and a lot of people are trying to figure out, me personally as well. So if you could speak on that, brother, I really appreciate it.
Copy. I'm on it. Thanks, Gerard. I appreciate your not only your support over the years, you heard, and I'm gonna be counting on it. But the new music that I'm doing is still in the same quality and build, so I'll count on you for that as well. But I also want to thank you for such a thoughtful request and question, because those are very important points of view, especially when we discuss ageism. You know, here it is. We have a community, the African American community, that is creating a culture that people don't even want to acknowledge that we have culture. They don't want to acknowledge that we have culture, much less acknowledge that our culture drives the entire culture of the diaspora. Everybody is doing what Black Americans do,
Uh-oh.
or Africans born in America, or indigenous peoples born in America. However you Moors, however you science it, you know, like whatever you feel covers how you see yourself in this space and place, right? Um, Everybody's doing what we do. Everyone's talking like we talk. Everybody's writing them rhymes. Everybody's making music to that they drop on the one. Like our brother James Brown taught the entire world. Every form of music aside from uh and this is again that's debatable too, aside from just straight European classical music, which, to hear tell Mozart was actually an African, is created by us, mastered by us, developed by us, right? But here it is. You have the African American who is a child in the sense that this group of people is still coming into a sense of self. We're still not fully free. We're still not fully self-determined, right? And these children, despite their age, I'm talking about this group, has been given a microphone to speak to the world. And when we first got the microphone, you know what these children said? A child is born with low state of mind, blind to the ways of mankind. God's looking at you, but he's frowning too, because only God knows what you'll go through. He said, don't push me because I'm close to the edge. I'm trying not to lose my head. It's like a jungle sometimes. It make me wonder how I keep from going under. That's what this African American said when he was given that mic. He was saying stuff like that. This particular African American you speaking to, in a song like One to Grow On, said, grow on this to make your life seem great. Grow on this to take control of your fate. Grow on this until you finally understand. Grew and now this boy's a you man. Don't sit beside the shoreline thinking about your woes. Read the rips and waves, identify your foes. Then realize in this instance of existence, there's great resistance to the minds that mix this. Yes, I've made things known, but then again, I'm on the down low. It's obvious because my methods show that I rule on 3 planes of reality, universally, mystically, conceptually. Then in due time, you may find that I'm living in the world
Living
of
in
my
the world of my
desire.
design, and I give you one to grow on. Sorry, my brother.
It's all right. It's all right. I know you had to say it, yeah, because you understand. And then hearing it recited, you know what I'm saying, it hit a little different when you realize what's being said. You know what I'm saying? Don't sit beside the shoreline weeping about your woes. Read the rips and the waves and identify your foes. What have I been talking about? Identifying the actual issues. What's really happening here? I'm 19 years old writing that. I'm 19 years old. A 19-year-old young man is writing these rhymes, and the entire world is hearing it. I'm influencing, along with my other peer group. Jungle Brothers is singing Black Woman, Mother of the Earth, Black Woman, you gave me birth. You can truly see what's in me. You have made me be the best that I can be. What? Jungle Brothers singing that. Black is black is black is black. Chuck D talking about move as a team, never move alone. But what? But welcome to the Terror Dome. You heard? Every brother ain't a brother. Cause the black hand squeezed on Malcolm X the man. The shooting of Huey Newton. Oh, the hand of a nigga that pulled the trigger. Come on. Here's what we was singing about. And then one day, all that stuff started getting called happy rap. They made fun of it. They found ways to make it sound silly, seem silly, right? And then they replaced it with no sellout, no crossover. You know what I'm saying? Gotta keep it rough, rugged, and raw, hardcore. And all of a sudden it was about smoking weed and, you know what I'm saying? And I don't want to sound like a stick in the mud because all work and no play make Jack a dope boy. That's not my time. I ain't on that time. You know what I'm saying? Have a good time. I'm a party man. I like to have fun. I'm a fun dude. But I have balance. You understand? I know when it's time to not have fun and when we got to catch a bill, right? So now they got the youngest African in the diaspora speaking to all the Africans of the world and all the peoples of the world and all the peoples of the world and all the Africans of the world listen to him. And after years and years of a very racist entertainment power structure striving to make black people look like the pimps and thieves and prostitutes and killers and everything and the dregs of society, we were making music that had such depth of value. And we were using words. Now I'm about to get crazy deep, and I hope I don't sound crazy in this depth. But somebody, anybody, any of the speakers that would like to just chime in on this, just chime in with me. And let me ask you a question. You know what a spelling bee is, of course, when you have to take a word and you do what with it? They say what to what? Anybody know what I'm trying to say? They do what with the word when you're at a spelling bee? I'm kind of giving you the answer. What do you do with a word? They say
I
You
spell
spell
it out and define it.
you
define it,
spell
yeah.
it,
And define.
right? You spell it. Spell it. Spell. Spell, right? Those of you that are Christian or maybe just know your Bible well, what did it say? In the beginning, there was the what?
Word.
Word.
Okay. In the beginning, there was the word. Words are what?
Swords.
They're spelled.
Spell.
Words are spells. Words. In the beginning, there was the words. Words are spelled. In the Quran, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, before he began this, he was illiterate, right? But when the Injil came and delivered the Quran to him, the first thing he told him to do was recite. You gotta see where I'm going in. And you watch anybody that's a Wiccan, a witch, truly in the which is the nature's religion. When you ever heard a witch, quote unquote, put together a spell, how the spell didn't the spell kind of rhyme?
That's
Rubble
a fact.
double, boil and bubble. Rubble double, toil and trouble. Fire burning, cauldron bubble. You ever heard the Quran? The whole Quran rhymes. Al-Fatiha. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. So it rhymes. So now here you have these young black men and women literally speaking the word, writing rhymes, spells, literally incantations, literal incantations. How many of y'all remember when Slick Rick wrote a children's story?
Absolutely.
How many of y'all remember where not soon
Yep.
after that he had that exact thing happen to him? That's how he ended up in jail. Y'all remember that?
Yep. Sure
That's
do.
Same thing
Yep.
happened with Snoop.
right.
Too.
How many of y'all remember when Tupac did "I Ain't Mad at You"? They end
Yep.
up
Yep.
releasing it posthumously. It was as if he knew that this was exactly what was coming.
Come on now.
What was Biggie's last album called?
Ready to die?
Ready to die. Ready to die. I promoted it.
Life
Oh,
after death, right?
Life after death.
Was it life after death?
Now before
Yeah, Life
life
After
after
Death,
death.
Ready to Die was number first one.
Yeah,
His
that was
Life
the
first.
after
first
death.
album.
Okay.
You're
Life
right,
after
but I
death.
promoted the first.
Mhm.
you see that? You see the power of that? You power them words? You see the power of them words? And here you got these these kids is using these words, right? So what do? You undermine it. And then what you do is you make it so that, God forbid, you should allow these young kids that had these words and this depth of poignance and insight at 18, 19, 20 years old, 21, right? God forbid you allow them to be in the business the same way as you allow Mick Jagger to be in this business. You allow that. These dudes is like, I don't even know what's keeping them alive.
Thank
Like,
you. There it is.
how do you got Paul McCartney can still hustle around and do his little 1-2? All these old time rockers, they out here doing their thing to the day they die on stage. And
The
guess what?
Beach Boys. Yep.
All of the fans that was, the kids of the fathers and mothers that loved them when they was out, and the grandparents that loved them. You see a kid 15 years old be walking around with a Rush t-shirt or Van Halen t-shirt, AC/DC t-shirt.
It's a fact. But
Why do they
you
want to?
still get some black kids who you'll see with Jimi Hendrix t-shirts every now
Okay.
and then. Every now and then.
I mean, and even in that, it's like, right, but so here it is. But here it is, you got this culture that's so unique. It's the first culture where the father and the son dress the same way. It's the first culture that the father and the son got the same hairstyle. Same culture, the father and son talk the same slang for the most part. And listen to the same boom bap. We all listen to the same music. It's a little different. And then I'm going to tell you what the difference is. Like everything else, we abdicated our power. And we let them tell us that the words from our elders ain't no value.
Come on now.
Say that.
And so here it is. And you break 30 years old in hip hop, you a has-been. You shouldn't be rhyming no more. Because they think like it's a toy. You want the most immature of the most immature Africans to be speaking to the world and for the world. You got 40-year-old men and women was in a club dancing to what's the boy Drake singing something about no new friends. I'm taking my social advice from a kid. I'm a grown-ass man at a club drinking alcohol, dancing to this like this is you taking instructions. How many times have you quoted a rap song or an R&B song in a discussion or an argument? You like so-and-so said, and you got instructions. Come on, man. You think this is not bigger than just like you think this is no joke? This is huge. So this ageism thing, God forbid. Now let me show you how deep this goes. My single now is called My Condolences, right? Listen to the words. I'm gonna recite the words. This is from the second verse. I have been appointed, been anointed, then avoided. Black exploited, I destroyed it. I enjoyed it. At first I felt I'm cursed until I found a hidden scripture written in my verse. It was me verse to verse. Who be voided first? Who'd be slaved by the rhythm? Dropped to hell in a hearse. Yo, I'm telling my brain was swelling. I was yelling, it hurts. And the dwelling that I had dwelt in just dealt me worse. You see, I learned to discern, learned to wait my turn, learned a man's worth what he earned and how fire could burn. And the hopes of a child is mild to what a man can yearn, a longing for life of greatness beyond concern. And yet it seems like I'm motivated, but I'm hated. Still, I dream like it. Like if I just stay patient, see how mean I get? Frustrated and berated, but I believe that I was fated, so I'm destined to make it. Yeah. This is what I'm saying. In these type of world, you hear what I'm saying? The longing of, see, I learned to discern, learned to wait my turn, learned a man's worth, what he earned, and how fire could burn. And the hopes of a child is mild to what a man can yearn, a longing for a life of greatness beyond concern. Who says these things? What child can speak this? What child can have experienced this? To speak this language, to y'all going through these exact things. How could they let me? How could they let me be out front with this? How could they let you hear me say these things that after you listen to these words, these spells over and over again, what are these spells going to do? They're going to have an effect on you.
Empowerment.
God forbid. Right? God forbid I should empower you. God forbid I should motivate you, mobilize. Because if I motivate you, if I inspire you, I might motivate you. If I motivate you, I might mobilize you. And if I mobilize you, it's a revolution. So
Yes, sir. Yes,
Big
one of
sir.
the
facts.
one of the
Big
things that
facts.
we have to take ownership individually, and hey, we're all in here right now, right? We in here, and the build is good, and everybody's enjoying it, and we all like, oh yeah, brother, that's that man, but saying something. All right, so what you have to do, just the same way as right now, while we're in this conversation, like, yo, this is a powerful discussion, brothers. This is making some sense. I know I'm making sense because I sit outside of myself when I talk, and I'm hearing myself like, yo, damn, you on one today, bro, right? And are we tweeting this out? Yo, man, let me tweet this out for real. Hold on, let me tweet this out, man. Let me tweet this out and say, yo, this is some things going on here. Y'all need to be here. Your family, if you follow me, you need to be in here
That's
for this.
right.
Brothers talking about, hold up, yo. This is real. This is the thing. This is the thing they're keeping from us. How many of y'all thinking to yourself, yo, let me jump up and follow this cat right now, man? Because what he's talking about, I think I need to activate on this. You understand? I think I need to activate. I got to activate on this. I don't want to just have heard it. There's an action item that's a part of this thing right here. Wait, that brother got a single out? Yo, you know what? I'm going to go buy that. You know why? Because I want to cast my vote. I want to cast my vote. I want to cast my vote and say that this is what I believe in. This is what I vote for. This is what I want to hear. I want this to be at the top. And then I want everybody to look at it and see the numbers, because remember they said men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie. Numbers actually do lie, but because it depends on who compiling the numbers and how the numbers are represented, right? So men lie, women lie, and numbers lie. But here's the thing where they don't lie. When you cast your vote, especially your economic vote, that's a big statement. People pay attention to that. Oh, why is that? That's money that we was trying to get. How's he getting that money? What is he doing? And guess what? We live in a copycat society.
That's right.
So if I do this and I succeed, guess what happens? I have a whole lot more people trying to do what I'm doing, right? It become a trend.
Absolutely. Yep.
And don't we want that as a trend?
Absolutely.
So may I ask, is $1.50 for a single that is dope such a big request
Are
or a
you
big
kidding,
investment?
brother? Look, Cool Kim, it's people out here in these Twitter spaces that's throwing $20,000, $30,000 into different things. Brother Marcel ran for office, and I think he raised close to $200,000. Brothers and sisters can spend $1.50 and not bat an eye. It's not a problem. So I put the link up in the jumbotron for family. So and also, he was talking about empowerment earlier, and I have a wear and carry and a license to teach it. So, I mean, definitely, if you don't come to my class, don't even worry about that. Get that My Condolences single from this brother. This right here is just a tip of the iceberg. So get that single to make it share it with your friends, your family. Get $1.50. Come on, fam. Let's get it.
And when we empower one another, then we make one another by 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 virtue of what it is called, by the virtue of the word empower. I make you powerful. That's why you put somebody in office, because you want that person that serves your interest in power. I need that person. I want that he represents my interest. That's what I want. Now, Gerard, to your second question, which was about I hope that the first one had some sort of, I kind of went on a very wide scale build to speak to this ageism, to say that there's a reason that and let me encapsulate it brief in a couple of sentences. The ageism exists because they don't want the wisdom of the ages to speak to the youth. Because if older people speak to younger people, then younger people will get engaged and enlightened. If we as elders, instead of always talking down to these young people, start speaking up to them and lifting them up with positive words and rocking with them and kicking it with them and vibing with them and partying with them and loving on them. You understand? And then they also see how we party with each other and we love on each other. And like, man, yo, Pops is having a good time. Yo, OG, I'm trying to be like you. When them young heads say that and they mean that, we got something. And that's why I'm striving for success. Success for me is not the monetary. I own my house. I own my cars. I don't have to worry about it. I ain't worried about landlord tenant court no more. I'm not worried about the repo man no more. I'm just worried about them taxes. And because I own it, I get homesteaded taxes, which means much less than like half the taxes that you would pay if you still have a mortgage. I'm not in that space where the finances is the issue. I only need to make about $700 a month to cover all my costs and to have a good time. So it's not that. I'm trying to get your vote because your vote says to everyone else, this is what we believe in. Yo, as soon as I made the first $50 in sales on Bandcamp, they sent me an email. Congratulations, you just made $50 in Bandcamp. As a result, we're going to give you this extra access to this and this much space to do that. I sold a few more. They say, yo, congratulations. You just unlocked another tier on Bandcamp. We just gave you the ability to do this and the ability to do that. The fact that I had an effective campaign to sell a single. You know what people said? The distributor is like, yo, we're looking forward to this next project. When you have it there, let's just drop one next month. Let's do one every month. I love what you're doing. I love what you're about. I love this energy. I love how you're engaging. I love how your people are responding to it. It's exciting. What else will they say? What else will they say when they start seeing? And this is where unity comes in, right? And we can't unify for real because we ain't got our own shit together, right? And this is where it comes in. This is where we don't have it together. Because here comes an example, an opportunity where it's like, yo, in mass, we're going to our individual power placed behind something to show that this is what we collectively agreed to. And we don't even do it. Yo, we can't be bothered to take 5 seconds and be like, let me just click this on there. Let me just put this out here. All right, go. Well, I bought it dated. My vote's in. I'm good. It's done. 5 minutes. It ain't even going to take that long. If it is, you're bugging. Boom, I did it. All right, I empowered my brother. Let's get him more powerful. Let's get on this. I'm tired of playing with these people. Why is somebody singing something about, my daughter hearing somebody singing about a WAP? I'm good on that. I'm good on that. I'm good on that. I'm good on that. She's doing a little TikTok dance. Yeah, what you dancing to? There's some hoes in this house. There's some why? Then you don't know what to do when that little thing turned 13, 14, 15. And you trying to do everything you can to keep her from being pregnant. Because you fighting in a society. You're not even fighting, like you teaching all you can. How much time you got with your kid? You got to go to work 8 hours a day. She at school. The teachers and her friends got more time to influence her than you do. TV and the internet got more time to influence her than you do. All you can do is buy her stuff and give her a spanking. You're going to have to come up with a strategy to subvert that. And the strategy is, even if it's not me, you know that artist that you like, that you bang with, has been putting music out.
Hey, Kool Kim, I think your audio went out, brother. I think your audio went out. Can anybody else hear him? Or he had to Okay, I think he got disconnected. He'll be back
Yeah.
in. But let's talk about it. Yeah, I'm gonna bring you back in. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's a little bit glitchy, brother. So I mean, Ali, you had something to say? I know Tubman House and Jizzle have their
Yeah.
hands up to talk to the brother. He's back. He's
Let's
back,
go
man.
to okay. Yeah, let's go to
That's true. Okay.
either Miss Jizzle or Miss Jizzle is connecting
Let
to,
me just say
or
this.
maybe Tubman House.
Ali,
Go
Ali,
ahead,
real
go ahead.
fast. Now I'm gonna tell you this. Now I could have now I'm gonna tell you, I'm on 5G Wi-Fi right now. All right. I am 3 feet away from my my Wi-Fi. I set my office up so that I would never have these kind of problems. I promise you, this is one of the reasons why I stopped being NYOIL. If I get the building on certain things and it be too poignant, it be too clear, all this little coincidental stuff always happens. That's why I've always been uncomfortable having these sort of conversations because, you get to somewhere, you start sounding like you bugging. It's like, oh, you crazy. Like, yeah, I know it sounds crazy. I can't call it. I can't even explain it to make it make sense. But I'm telling you, anytime that I've spoke and they get real like this, and I'm like really bringing home a point and activating and mobilizing people, all of a sudden you start hearing something weird on the phone. It gets spotty. I got top level internet. They don't even give you no better internet service than I got from Xfinity. You understand? But now I'm glitchy. I got the best phone that you can have for this. Except for they got a newer version of it now. But this joint is, come on. What are we talking about? You understand? So this is how powerful this stuff is, y'all. Like, this is, if you're going to get into conspiracies, you got to science which ones is real and what do people have to gain from them. Is there a conspiracy to keep you from hearing right knowledge from artists that can really make a difference in the lives of our families and the lives of our community? Who stands to gain from it? The same people that have been keeping us blind, deaf, and dumb all this time. And then what are we going to do about it? We going to boycott? Boycott what? We need to boycott. We need to buy in to everything we believe in and everyone we believe in and everyone that has a message that stands with what there's some things we just ain't going to be able to get from our own because we ain't in that position to manufacture or create those things. But the things that we do create, the things that we can influence, we should get behind them as a matter of obligation and duty. And it should become a habit for us. Because we should be about empowering our own. We let everybody else come in our community and we empower them. How many restaurants is in your community that's black owned? And the Chinese restaurant in your joint. You know what I'm saying? The gyro in your joint. The Mexican restaurant in your joint. The bodegas in your joint. Shoot, come on, man. We all for that. Soul food joint can't even make it. It can't do 2 years in the community.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Well, we got two that lasted. We got Amy Roof's where I'm at. We got Amy Roof's and then around the corner. I mean on 125th. I mean 127th, 6th, 7th, whatever. You got that one. I guess it's black owned still. Sylvia's. I don't know if Sylvia's is black owned or not.
It's not black owned. It's owned by the Asians.
Sylvia's initially I knew the son of Sylvia's son, because he was a record exec. And Lynn something. And I met Sylvia as well. There was a black owned and family owned business. I don't know that they've sold it at this point. But yes, these were institutions. This was definitely an institution. Amy Roofs, you said, right? The reason why Amy Roofs is winning is why. Because what did it become? It became a kitschy place for white people to go and say this was the best soul food in Manhattan, which it's not.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? But that notwithstanding, that's why it wins. You understand? It's not winning because the community support it like that. You know what I mean? And this is where the problem is. This is why there's no honor. This is why people, like when we talk about like Sister Tubman was saying I'm just calling you Sister Tubman because I know that's the that I know it's
No, my name is Morgan.
All right,
but yeah, you can call me whatever.
Yeah, I'll call
Tubman, Morgan. Yeah.
Morgan. So Sister Morgan was alluding to, what I'm saying, about, why the kids should have the confidence to be able to engage their enemy and know that even if they have to take a little bit of an L, that there's an institution and infrastructure that's going to come and get them, and that they have the intrinsic information and knowledge to be able to combat that situation. But we don't. And they don't. That's the problem. You don't have honor. That's why there's no honor among thieves, because thieves are thieves and liars. And you're not willing to go march and get locked up for somebody because there ain't no institution that's going to get you bailed out. You got to go to work in the morning. How you look going to march tonight?
That's real talk.
I got to go to work in the morning, son. I got bills to pay. Kid, are you kidding me? What are we talking about? That's why it's not optional. Not if we're going to talk this talk. To sit and watch people doing the work. And hearing Gerard, this is and here goes the answer to that question. It is very difficult to do both, if not almost impossible. What I will say to you is this: you have to prioritize. My mother taught me we do things by priority. We do them properly, and then we move on to the next. In Islam, they say zakat begins at home, meaning it is commonly said, charity begins at home. Charity begins home. Be a community active. Be a community activist for your family first, for your wife and your kids, whose time you squander supporting a community that won't support you.
Facts.
Who will look at you one day and say, where were you? Despite all the good that you did for kids and people in the community that had no regard for what you went through or what your kids went through. Yeah, maybe a little equity in there. So love, that's what's up. Take care of them first. Because each one teach one. But if you teach the 2 or 3 that you got, right? I mean, that one, you taught 3. And how many more can they teach? And if you position them well, what position can they be in to do what for our community? Can you imagine? You get all 3 of them in a higher learning institution where they learn medical or law or some sort of science that can revolutionize our condition. Or you get them in some sort of trade that they can grandfather down to their children and their children's children. You know that a millwright make like $65, $75 an hour. And you can pass that job along to your kids. That's what they've been doing. How you think white wealth has been? What do you think the white middle class is? You think it's a bunch of people that work at Shears and Lehman trading stocks? No, it's people that work carpentry, work 740, millwright, work plumbing, fitting, pipe fittings and stuff like that. Blue collar jobs are what the middle class is built on. So if we start teaching our children that's some heavy duty activism, because they'll tell their friends about it. And maybe 2 or 3 of their friends are bang on that. Now you got a community of kids that's working, but you put your kids first so that they be the flyers. They looking good. They feeling good. They doing good. And I say that as someone that didn't do that. And on some levels let my kids down because I was so caught up in trying to be this thing that where they needed me as their father, sometimes I fell short. I'm man enough to admit that. I'm a loving father. My children love me and we doing all right. Everything's good. But it doesn't change the fact that it could have been better if I focused my energy on them first. Love on my family first. That's the first activism. Pursue your passion. Because you ain't no good to nobody if you ain't no good to yourself. If you're not fulfilling yourself, what good do you have? What do you offer somebody? For the words of a frustrated and embittered man who's mad at the world because the world wouldn't give him something he could have took for himself.
There it is.
There it is.
Appreciate that, brother. I appreciate the insight, and thank you for answering both of those questions for real. I really do appreciate it.
Right on, bro. And you know what I did, right? Come on, Gerard. You know what I did, right? Come on.
What'd you do?
That's why I gave you one to grow on.
I don't know why I missed that. Shit.
Why
It's facts,
did you miss that? What's a once in
I
a
don't
lifetime
know. The
thing,
alley
bro?
oop is right there.
That's
Hey,
a
y'all gonna
once
say
in a
I messed up the fast break. Oh shit.
lifetime chance, yo. Oh my gosh, yo, how could you?
Yeah, my bad. Actually, yo, we're gonna run that back later.
Nah, you did. Oh man, that's too much. I believe we had another
All right.
question. Yeah, Miss
Yeah,
Jizzle.
we do got Miss Jizzle,
Yeah,
and
she
then I
was.
think Tubman House had her hand up before, so we're gonna go Miss Jizzle, then Tubman House.
Okay, cool. Thanks for being so patient, Miss Jizzle. I'm sorry for being so verbose with my answers.
No, that's how we be. You philosophizing.
I know that's right.
That's that stuff. Yeah. Hey everybody, and happy Wednesday to the family. Thanks for holding this space. Um, and I wanted to come up. It's so many things. You hit so many different points, and I don't want to miss anything, and I don't want to talk too long. So let me just jump straight to it. As far as I'm gonna take it back to the Xerox and the Codex comment. Cool. Please believe these people kind of like genius on the back end. Kodak and Xerox, they went straight to government contracts. That's the fact. That's why the only reason why they're still there. They have some of the illusion of stuff that they used to do on this side, but most of that stuff is on government contracts. Now, I believe like artists like you, I love it. When you were spitting your rhymes, I was like, that's what I'm talking about. You are what you and actually you should actually start pushing this genre, and we've been talking about this in a lot of spaces. It's called contemporary rap. One thing that is missing in our culture, you're absolutely right. We never had an era where I'm listening to the same music as my child. That has never been the same thing because music always represented the time. It's a timestamp for us, right? You know your grandmama's music from your great grandmama's music, and your great grandmother's and your mama's great grandmother's music, and your grandmother's music from your mother's music, and your music. That's what we do, you know. And that's just a reflection of how we're evolving as a people and what's actually happening in real time in society and how we're taking it in. As far as the different genres of music, yeah, push that contemporary rap for sure. As far as the genres of music, we actually have different genres of genres of music. We had WAP music. It was called dirty blues. But guess what? It wasn't the frontline music. So this enemy has tried to destroy us 50 billion times. But the only thing that, I'm sorry, my kid's getting in the car. But the only thing that has upheld us for the last couple of decades, the only thing has upheld us throughout slavery even has been our music. It's how we put our codes in our music and everything. So we got to know our music. They knew that's where our power lied. When we were about to pass out on the plantations, guess what? It was hip hop on the plantations that was keeping our men focused and our women focused. We would sing and we would rap together. And that hype man, we still had a hype man today because of what our ancestors did at that time. When you was about to fall out on that plantation, the hype man came through and did the same thing the hype man does on the stage. It's a cultural thing. So what they do, and when you were talking about words and spells, absolutely, they're also swords. And when you spell it backwards, when you take that S off the bottom, put it to the front, you got a sword. And that's why they say words can cut you, right? So they knew that if they use the words in our music against us, it would definitely manipulate us. Why is this a problem? If you go back, the transition that you were talking about with the music, why is it that this and that, the things that was in the music, it was that transition between the early 90s, like 92, right, when the Boys in the Hoods and all of them were coming out and they were talking about gangster rap. Keep in mind, at that time, we still had a lot of respect with young people in the community. I watched it in real time. Like my uncle was a DJ and I was like his protege in real time. Seriously, God rest his soul. But with the when it came to this music genre and everything, they convinced us by way of BET and media that, hey, you know what, Black people, it's okay to say F you on a song. Remember? I remember when I was younger, I wouldn't even ride down the street blasting that music like that.
That's right. That's
And it
right.
was, but they had to get our kids distracted. So what happened was we had the Bill Cosby era. You got to remember.
Hold on, Miss Jizzle. Hold on a second. I wanna get can you I'll give you like 30 seconds more so you could either just ask your question or whatever, because we're having connectivity issues and this is kind of crazy. But I got a couple more people, and I did tell Cool Kim it was like 7 o'clock, a couple hours, and we're at 7-Eleven right now. So I'm gonna give you like 30 more seconds, let you come back in, and I want to get him to be able to answer the next two questions that are coming up. And I appreciate his time, but I mean, we can definitely bring him back because this is like fire. I think it's fire, but we're having connectivity issues, and I definitely don't want this connection to drop. So can you? I'll give you 30 more seconds, sis.
Yep, I absolutely can do this in 30 seconds. So basically, at that point, that's when our transition occurred. You can look back in time at the history on what changed it. But we got to remember that this is war, and we are going through direct ethnocide and genocide. And the only way that they can push it is by using every tool and weapon against us. And that includes our music. That's why it's up to you and all the rest of us artists and everybody else in every position that they're in to get in our positions and just fight back, because our hip hop is still the old school hip hop is still the most requested. And I'll send you a in the back channel, I'll send you an article showing 70% of old school music is still the highest on demand, and they're actually trying to stop the sale of old school music. And this is per article from this year. So I'll land there, guys, and thanks for letting me speak.
Put it in your
All right. Thank
jumbotron.
you, sis. Can you put it in a jumbotron for all of us? Because I think that's
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
really
powerful
important.
right
how you
there.
get it? How
So,
you I just posted. All
I
right, I'll try
mean,
to
if
do it. I don't know how to do that. I'm gonna try to do it
okay,
now.
if do you have it on your Twitter? Do you have it on
Yep,
your
I just
Twitter
posted
page?
it. Yep, I just posted it.
Okay, if you just go post it, go back like you're gonna retweet it with that little wishbone symbol, and then it should just share it to Ross's space. Okay. All right. Thank you, Miss Jizzle, and I'm gonna move to Morgan. Then we're gonna go to Riri. Thank you so much.
There was a lot that you said, dog, and I appreciate everything that you said. I just wanted to make a point that, like, for me, coming up in my life, if these people have the mass appeal, they're not the ones, because there is no discernment, and there's a lot of clout chasing and everything else. So no matter how big the crowd is, to me, it never mattered, because the people that are going to put in the work are few and far between. And these people that are loudly um, supporting these agents and these people of chaos and all of that, it, for me, it's duly noted. So I see what you're saying. And then with the Tupac thing that you touched on him, people got to understand that he, because I heard about Young Thug was already being tagged by the time he was 12, because his community was criminalized. So they already had a tag on him. And Tupac was the same way. And you know what Tupac knew? That these, I'm going to keep it in layman terms, a lot of these niggas ain't shit, because he saw firsthand how people exalted his family, but then his when the bad times came, his family was harassed. You had FBI agents showing up in his school playgrounds asking where Asada is, and it's like that. For me, what we're talking about is the loss of tradition, right? Because if you have these traditions, you have something to point back on that says, like, these are the points, right? And we should be watching that, but they don't want that. And it's, I think, yeah, I know it's right about our music, because now all I do is listen to the oldies. And I came up, 98 for me for rap was the greatest year. The Every album that meant something to me in rap came out in 98. But I had discernment, like we're talking about, where it was like I could listen to that gangster shit, but knew better. you know, and there is none now. So this is an intricate goddamn plot, and I see it very well. So I'm talking to all of us. Don't worry about the numbers, because that shows you clearly that you're doing the right thing. Because you got that mass appeal, you out here cooning, distracting our people, and you a goddamn agent. And that's really how I feel about it.
You know, just you know, what I do want to say to you is, you know, keep that energy. You heard? And even though you hear me saying stuff like, yo, you know, you gotta focus on yourself first, you know what I'm saying? Talking about, no. That's true. Like, these things are not mutually exclusive. And they're not meant to be a deterrent from doing. If you have the capacity to do both the work, then do both the work. You know what I'm saying? Um, but always emphasize in your efforts a very practical and applicable manifestation of your ideals, because your ideal, because we have to show and prove, and showing is the state and improving makes it valid. And I say again to everybody listening, you have to show and prove. You have to prove it. Think about this for a minute. Now, I can monitor things in real time, right? In real time, I see how many people tag, start following me on Twitter, which is dope. In real time, I can also see if anybody purchased my single. So now think of this. Now watch how ill this is. Now, and I want somebody to respond to this as a question that I'm gonna propose. Now, and I'm not griping. Let me say this, either. I'm literally just making a point, because I actually look forward to being invited back to talk with you guys more about a myriad of other things. I haven't even really built on systems the way I wanted to, because it's really what I really wanted to discuss with y'all, because I think that we need to talk more about systems and how they impact what we can do, and about developing and controlling micro habits that, can help us achieve our goals, because that's our path to success, right? But just for the sake of furthering the discussion that has manifested today, right? I'm looking on my Bandcamp thing, comes in on real time. So anytime somebody purchases the single, right, I know it immediately. Like, oh snap, boom, so it's go cha-ching. So and so just bought your single. Like it literally says, ka-ching. Another so and so on for my condolences. Greeting, Kool Kim. So and so just paid blah 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 for your single, because you can pay any amount that you want, right? Now, how many people do you think purchased my single since I've been on here? Zero. All right. Now, let's take it a step. Let's take it a step further, right? Now, let's look at it in terms of return on investment, ROI, as they say. My time investment has been an hour, 2 hours and 20 minutes, right? In 2 hours and 20 minutes of work, how much do you guys get paid for 2 hours and 20 minutes of work where you work at? You understand? So now I'm at work for 2 hours and 20 minutes. And not only am I doing my job, right, which my job is to empower and reach and teach, you know what I'm saying? But also, I am sharing insights on how to do things very specific that you would pay somebody else to have a funnel. If you're not familiar with funnels, it's like the guys that come on like your YouTube and be like, yo, you want to learn how to make $1 million by flipping real estate? I can show you how. Just sign up for my free newsletter. And then you give them your email, and all of a sudden you get 500 emails from these dudes every day to try to get you to take their course. It's 5 hours and it's like $500 for the course. But after you take the course, those are funnels. These people will sell you their knowledge. I just gave you 2.5 hours of this knowledge for absolutely free. And the ROI has been zero. Now, this is what I'm trying to explain to y'all. I'm not complaining. I promise you. And I know well, you all complain because you're saying something about it. Saying something about it is not complaining. I'm teaching. Let me teach y'all. Think about it for a minute. Who would ever come back and talk to you? Who would give you knowledge if this is what they thought was the result? That's why no one's telling you the truth. That's why the guy that's selling a gazillion records ain't keeping it real with you. He's already determined what your value is. He's already determined that in 2.5 hours of his work, his ROI is going to be zero. He's already determined that. And that's why he's successful. Me, on the other hand, you on the other hand, Gerard, who's a community activist, you know what I'm saying? All of y'all know they're putting in that work. You know what the value of your time and effort is really for that community. That's why I'm sure that when I said it resonated with a few of you when I said, yeah, you're going to work for a community that's not going to do nothing for you. But watch you neglect your children and your wife or your husband while you bust your ass for them. They ain't even going to take the time to say thank you. Because they feel like you should do that. Because they feel like being a superhero is the obligation of a person that has power. But don't you know that that person that is out there saving you has a family too?
Can I say something, brother, real quick? No, they shit. I'm just going to put it in layman's terms. No, they shit on you. They disrespect you, and they're ungrateful. Straight up, they're ungrateful, and you should put that value into your family. I'm the middle child of 3 daughters, right? And everything, because my dad, he owned a jazz club. You can get in all that, but all that to say, not even for political organizing, but in terms of us being black people, loving our community and putting people in position to be able to take care of their families for over a decade, that wasn't enough. So I know exactly what you're talking about, and we need to understand that fully. And if there are political prisoners, people in our communities, and you see them, you need to really, really value them. We'll never get that. I know that. Not in our lifetimes, but it just needs to be said. So if we're being contrite, sometimes if we're being disrespectful or dismissive, that's because of everything that we've ever got for our community. And the ones that still do it, that's the love. That's the revolutionary love right there. And that's why we do it, because you got
That's
to
a
have some
big
love to
love.
be able to do it.
Yeah, it's a big love because when you it's the love that you have like you have for your children when you know that like they're killing you and you're dying like you're killing me, man, you're killing me. But I'm trying so hard not to turn my back on you because I know what this world got for you if I do. Somebody's got to stand in the gap, yo. Somebody's got to stand in the gap. If nobody does, man, oh my God, I can see what's gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my brother Gerard. Gerard said, hold up now. You ain't gonna lump me in with them. I'm gonna get that joint real quick. Gerard, you ain't got that. You ain't got that joint real man.
Yo, you already know, Show and
That's not
prove.
it.
That's what's
No,
up, Gerard. There it is.
the
That's what's
link
up,
the
though.
link
That's
takes
what
me
it
to my
is.
Apple Music, brother. Because I
Google
checked it, but they're
Google
like,
Bandcamp. Go to
I already got
Bandcamp.
it.
Go directly. Yep.
Okay. Send me the link, please. Right, I'm a little bit older, but I
If
got
you
you.
go,
Yeah,
if
Send
you
me.
Gerard. Can you
if you
post
go on
that link in there?
my profile, it got it right there. You know the little link that be in the profile. Like if you go to my Twitter page, it's right there, y'all. So this way, but you know what I'm saying. But and listen, let me be kind. I don't want to be distasteful. I'm not, I don't want to like be pressuring y'all to go buy my drink because that's not the vibes. I want you to get it because you,
I am. I
you know what
am.
I'm
Forget that.
Nah,
I am.
nah.
Everybody in this space, buy it. No, no, no. Cut it. I'm saying it. Buy it. Because he did bring value. Time is money, and he needs to be supported. And since you guys are in here for this long, support him. That's just it.